This is Ricky. Today I will introduce the socket programming in Python. So in this video, I will talk about some basic concepts of the socket module and show you some useful function, keyword about that. Then we will try to implement a pair of server and client based on TCP protocol. So what is socket? If you already know what is TCP three-way handshake, you should know this powerful module. Basically, the socket provides low-level network interface, allows two nodes on a network to communicate with each other. This image shows how the server and client communicate using sockets. On the left-hand side is server, and right-hand side is client. For both server and clients, the first step they need to create a socket object, and then server binds the address and port detail to the socket and start listening and waiting to accept a connection from the client. After that, both sides starting to exchange data until they call the close function to stop this process. Here are some useful keywords you need to remember. The AFINET, it's a parameter. It's saying we're going to use a standard IPv4 address or host name. And socket stream indicates that this will be a TCP client or server. Usually, we create a socket using these two parameters. Using band function to band the socket to address, and an accept function waiting a connection from the client. You need to know that next two steps, when the client and server are exchanging data, they don't have to write and read function. They use the send and receive function instead. And there is only one field function for the client, the connect function. It sends a connection request to the server, and the send, receive, and at last use the close function to close the connection from both sides. I will give you 10 seconds to remember that. So before we start programming, we need to make sure that both side computers are in the same network. Let's first look at the IP address of each house. In the Linux, we run the IP address show command to check. Now here we can see the IP address is 192.168.1.3. Okay, and the MAC. So we type the IFCONFIG. This MAC address is .1.12. If you are a Windows user, you should run the -R. But it's not work on this computer, so just use it. So we use the ping command to check the connection. Ping it worked. Okay, the other side. perfect. So let's write the program on the Linux. So we run this program as a server. Let's create a file. The first step is import socket. And create two variables. The host, we put the empty string here. It means this server will watching out the possible IP address. Another is port. It's the interface, or it's where the client should connect to. And then we create a socket object with the AF init and socket stream parameters. So that's equal to socket socket socket. We create a socket object. The AF init means we use the IPv4 address or host name, and the socket stream indicates that this will be a TCP client. So we bind the host and port to the socket. That's the and host port. And next, we tell the server to start listening with a maximum backlog of connection set to 5. Set to 5 connection. And then waiting for the connection from the client using the accept function. It will return the new socket object and the address detail. So let's print something. Set from the client and address detail. So next step, we keep listening to check whether there's some message from the client. While true, data, socket object, receive 1024 batch usually. If not receive the data, and then they break the loop. So if we receive the data, we send some other message. So awesome. And we print it out. And finally, we close the connection. And print something, show us. This is the server code. Let's make a save and run it. Okay, it keep listening from the connect. and start the client. Create a file at first. So first step is import socket and the house equal to the target we want to connect. Did you remember that IP address? So if I remember correctly, it's 1.3. And the port is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Create a socket object. IPv4 address family. And use the TCP. We then connect the client to the server and send some data. So we connect. And then the host and port to this function. We send some strings. Hi. This is Ricky. And receive the data from the server. So the lines of data, it could be 1000 bytes. And the last step, close the function and print something out. Column, add the data. So let's have a test. I remember the server is listening, and we run the client Python 2.7 client, and we send data to the server, and server responds just another message. So we send data. Oh, we forget some. So add the data. Yeah. Run again. Yeah. We send a message from 1.12. Hi, this is Ricky, and we respond to awesome message. It works perfect. So, in summary, we know what socket programming and some pretty handy function, and we implement a easy server and client. This is the simplest form of TCP client server, but the one you will write most often. So thanks for watching.